When the first Tron Ares trailer debuted at CinemaCon, Jared Leto and Jeff Bridges were actually there to talk about the film and what fans can expect. And this is an article from The Hollywood Reporter. Jared Leto leaves the digital world behind in laser-packed Tron Ares trailer. Nine Inch Nails scores the film. Here's their comments as they were introducing the footage at CinemaCon. Leto and Bridges took to the stage at CinemaCon to debut Tron Ares teaser. Well, first off, as a kid, I was obsessed with Tron. It was the 80s, and the future felt like it was just around the corner. Tron had action, adventure, spandex, lots of spandex. Leto said before adding that his character is on a do-or-die mission to fulfill his directive. We don't know what that is. In the trailer, he says, "I'm searching for something I do not understand." But he also continues that for fans who grew up loving the original Tron, this one will hit you right in the grid, wherever that is. Jeff Bridges was also there. This is an article from Variety covering his comments. Jeff Bridges, who starred in the first film as well as its sequel, returns as Kevin Flynn, the gamer who kicked everything off. He joined Leto on stage to pitch the new film. It's an incredible visual experience. You're in for a treat. It is interesting that everyone just says that he's returning as Kevin Flynn, but obviously he's not the original Kevin Flynn who sacrificed himself, as we all saw in Tron Legacy. So it is a digital entity. I'm really interested to see what his new form is. And apparently there is some connection to Jared Leto, to Ares. We hear Kevin Flynn's voice, ready, because there's no going back. But we don't know who he's saying that to. I wouldn't presume that that's to Ares that he's speaking to. That could be someone else. But I do think Jeff Bridges did confirm that he had scenes with Jared Leto specifically. I just think it's funny that none of the people reporting on this are making that distinction, because Kevin Flynn did sacrifice himself and we saw him seemingly obliterated in a pretty big explosion. But we do know that Sam Flynn downloaded all that information from his father's grid on that flash drive at the end of Tron Legacy. I think that we're going to see Sam Flynn's grid, and I think that's where we're going to see the digital entity of Kevin Flynn. It could be that they could encounter each other this way, because we did see Ares and Julian Dillinger, those two red light cycles, seemingly escaping the city to go off into the foresty areas away from all that. And it is my theory, and my hope as well, that Dillinger and Ares are seeking the help of Sam Flynn and Quorra. And maybe Quorra is the key here for Ares. Maybe she has something that he's looking for specifically. And Quorra is very significant to this story as well. She already made the journey herself from the digital world, but she also manifested spontaneously from it. The conditions were right, and she came into being. So maybe there's something there that Ares is struggling with. I don't know if that's connected to why they're fleeing the city, but I think that could be interesting for Ares himself to seek Quorra's help specifically in some way. Maybe she has some information in her root code that would instigate some evolution in his programming, and maybe to grow beyond the boundaries of that. That's my theory and my hope, to involve them in the story, because that would make a lot of sense too, that Kevin Flynn will return from Sam Flynn's grid, because he's the one that downloaded all that to his server, so that would make sense that he has his own. We've seen Dillinger's grid. It would make sense also to see Flynn's grid. So speaking of Garrett Hedlund's return, I really honestly don't think you can make this entry without him. He's just so integral to the world and the story. But the actor has actually teased his return already, so I'm really hoping that this is the case, that they're trying to keep this close to the vest, that they don't want to reveal too much too soon, but make it like a nice surprise for fans. This is an article from Collider. This is an interview that Garrett Hedlund did in promotion for Tulsa King Season 2, and he was asked about Tron Legacy. And I did a video on this a while back, in case you haven't checked that out. You can find it in the Tron playlist, but let's go ahead and just see his comments from it. He's asked in this interview with Collider, what does it mean to you to have starred in a film that has one of the best soundtracks or scores of all time? And you know what I'm talking about. And of course, everyone knows that it's Tron Legacy. And Hedlund said, absolutely, it's so funny how many people I've met recently that are younger, are older, and all seem to have just watched Tron Legacy for the first time last week. It's been really the gift that keeps giving. The younger generation keeps watching it and being sort of vastly inspired by the look and aesthetic of it, the world of it, and the possibility of a world like the grid. That's really so wonderful. It really gives great kudos to what Tron Legacy director Joseph Kosinski did. You know, the first Tron that Steven Lisberger did was so far above its time, as was this. And he continues, man, I'm very excited for Tron Ares coming to fruition. I'm very excited about what that's going to bring not only the Tron fan base, but the world of the grid. I know how hard everybody's been working within the world of the grid. I'm really proud over all the obstacles they have with that one to see it come to fruition. And who knows, maybe it's not the last anyone will see of Sam and Quorra. So it's not a confirmation, but definitely a tease. And also, you see the hairstyle that Garrett Hedlund was sporting in Tron Legacy, and in Tulsa King, I think in season 1, he had this longer hairstyle, but for season 2, he cut his hair short again, and it definitely looks like this could be Sam Flynn's hair. So along with that, I think the timing of it would have worked out as far as Tron Ares production in Tulsa King season 2 of him having to have this certain haircut. That's why I'm kind of pinning my hopes that he is indeed in it, which I don't think you can even have it without him. I'm going to just state that that's going to happen. I don't think it's a coincidence that he just happened to cut his hair this way. And in the interview, too, he really has that fondness for the franchise and that willingness to return and to see it succeed. So who knows? Does Bruce Boxleitner return? That is the most important legacy character to be in this movie. You literally cannot have a Tron film without Tron, without the iconic security program. And the way the film is presented, the way the story seems to be going, I think they're building up for Tron's triumphant return. It has the potential to be huge, to be so epic, to see his return. And if they pull it off, it could be so awesome. And Bruce Boxleitner, he still looks good. Certainly his voice sounds still great, but I do think that they should keep it a secret if that's the case. I think it's way more impactful to just be surprised and to experience it for the first time in the theater in a similar way to Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's appearance in Spider-Man No Way Home. I think that that has the potential to equal that moment, if not surpass it. They kept that secret. I think it did eventually sort of leak. And if you were really looking for it, you could find it. It's kind of hard to keep these things secret from the leakers and all of that. But I don't know if I knew for sure, but I suspected that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield would return just from what the story was. So I think it's that possibility. And Bruce Boxleitner, he really is open to returning. He loves this IP. He always has spoken about how ahead of its time it was and how relevant is it now, even more so. It was so ahead of its time, and he recognized that, and he really appreciated what the film did, what it pioneered. It was truly groundbreaking with the technology that they were using. And of course, just in the themes as well regarding AI. And he's also returned for the cartoon Tron Uprising, which was amazing. It really wasn't given the full attention by Disney. It didn't come out on Disney XD. It was a channel that didn't have a lot of traction. But now there seems to be like this revitalization. They've ignored it for so long. They just didn't know what to do with it. But they had the new Tron light cycle ride. I can't believe it took them that long to do it, but that's just inspired. Of course, that makes total sense that you would have a ride based off of the light cycle run. Jared Leto actually did a video where he went on it and it looks amazing. And Bruce Boxleitner was there for the grand opening of that ride. So he's friendly in that way too, to the franchise always. He's just been disappointed, obviously, with the handling before of them shutting down production. Right as that original Tron 3 film was set to film in 2015, Disney just shut it down. And they canceled Tron Uprising, even though it was an amazing show. They didn't really foster it well or give it the tools it needed to succeed, just relegating it to a time slot in a channel that didn't really get a lot of eyes on it. I wanted more, and maybe we'll get more of that. If this film does really well, I really hope that they will return to that and finish that story. I love the animation too, it was really good. just can't believe it took them this long to capitalize on it. This is one of the few IPs that originated from Disney. And again, it's one that was hugely ahead of its time, and that's become so beloved through the years as a cult classic. And it was underestimated at its time, but it just grew and grew, that dedicated, loyal, huge fan base through the years. And Tron Legacy as well just added to that. Ultimately, I believe Tron Ares has the potential to be a major win for the franchise if they're able to truly deliver on these aspects of what fans have been hoping for. While the return of Kevin Flynn, Sam Flynn, and Quorra might be limited to brief cameos, much like Bruce Boxleitner's Alan Bradley in Tron Legacy, even those small appearances would carry huge emotional weight for longtime fans. However, when it comes to Tron himself, not involving Bruce Boxleitner in some capacity, at the very least as the voice of the character, would be a deal breaker for many. His presence is the cornerstone of the franchise, and so I just don't think there's any way this film happens if they're not secretly going to facilitate his epic return. But I'm curious to know what you think of the possible return of these characters in Tron Ares. Do you feel it would be a deal breaker if Bruce Boxleitner's Tron doesn't return for this entry? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more sci-fi and fantasy news, theories, and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, you can leave a super thanks or join as a YouTube member for early access to new videos and other perks. You can also check out my Patreon page for exclusive content. Thank you all so much for your support. And as always, have a very nerdy day.